I'm pleased to be joined by Michigan Panthers outside linebacker and outstanding defensive player, Breeland Speaks. Breeland, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, brother. I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time, especially after your week one debut with the Panthers, where you had 7 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble against the Memphis Showboats, I believe. Like, is that kind of how you scripted, dog?
It was actually the Houston Gamblers,
Gamblers.
but
That's right. My fault.
honestly, I didn't know how I was gonna play in that game. That was honestly my first game in 4 years, actually being on the field playing, not just practice squad. So a lot of emotions going through my mind pre-game and all of that, but just happy I was able to do what I did on game day. Well, was very surprised with what I did, but hey, I'm just happy it was me who did it.
I'm glad that you corrected me because I already slotted your first USFL game being in Memphis. And Memphis might as well be home base for Ole Miss, which is where you went to college. So I apologize for that. And I thank you for catching me on the Gamblers and not the Showboats, but it's the Memphis Hub. And I say all that to say, hey, man, you was a force out there at Ole Miss. Now, I want to backtrack just a little bit and make sure everybody understands, but like, you were playing defensive tackle in the NFL at 313. They got you listed at 285, and you standing up. So explain to me how that has come into fruition for you and what the coaches saw that allowed for you to be basically up there in a 9 technique wrecking people.
Basically it was our GM, Mr. Steve Kaiser. He called me back in December. They were basically looking for a guy to come up here and play defensive end. And it just so happens when Steve called me, he honestly was surprised when he called. He was like, "Oh, Breeland, you're available. Okay, cool. Bet. Let's roll. We'll send you a contract tomorrow." And it literally happened that fast. But getting here and being with Coach Mike Nolan, which was with me in Dallas, being with a few of the guys that I played with on the Dallas practice squad or at the Dallas team, it was actually honestly a right fit for me, and we could tell so far through the season that it actually has been the perfect fit for me, and these guys honestly just believing in me and my ability to play.
Yeah, money. I mean, you putting in the kind of work that could lead defensive player of the year in this league, which is no small feat. I'm here to tell you, but like, I want to get to 39 tackles and 7 sacks as outside linebacker Panthers, right? We got that. But again, I got to tell people, when I first heard Breeland Speaks his name, it was at Callaway High in Jackson, Mississippi, stand up Rankin County. Now, it's one thing to be a 4-star defensive tackle. It's another thing to be a 4-star defensive tackle who had 114 tackles. Now, explain to me and to the rest of us, quite honestly, how you end up with over 100 tackles with your hand on the ground.
I run to the football. that's that's my that's my key to victory. Has been for a very long time. Just basically played linebacker some in high school as well. So just that ability to always keep that motor going, have that motor always running, never allowing it to run hot, being in shape enough to be able to play every snap if need be. So that's really what I attribute being able to make those type plays, because when you get into those number of tackles, that's just not somebody who's making the regular tackles on the line or behind the backfield. That's person who has to be going down the field and chasing the ball on a consistent basis to put up those type numbers. So that's one thing that I definitely pride myself in.
And it has followed you throughout your career. Like, it's one of those things where if you see Breeland on the other side of the line of scrimmage, don't stop running until you're out of bounds, because he is chasing you. And the reason I can say that is you were the second leading tackler, I believe, on the 2017 Ole Miss Rebels at defensive tackle again, which again is wild. But like, it became clear to me that you was a dude when you went up to Ole Miss. And it's not just that, you go up to Ole Miss, it's that y'all beat Alabama not once, but twice. And then I want to ask where this quote comes from. This quote is always up there with Andrew Jackson of West Kentucky. When you talk about Kentucky, talk about they're supposed to be SEC. You over here talk about it's how Bama fans think that they should beat Auburn every year. It's kind of like we're supposed to beat Mississippi State every year. We're supposed to beat Bama. We're supposed to beat LSU. Now, it's one thing to say that after a win in Oxford. It's another thing to go to Tuscaloosa double up and then be able to say that. So where does that energy, especially during that really cool run with the Hugh Freeze era, come from?
It was basically the team chemistry. We had guys on the field like Laquan Treadwell, Larry Thompson, Evan Ingram, Quincy Adeboyejo, Trey Elson. You have like really like a group of guys that Hugh Freeze brought together who recruited and also who are still there that just bought into that team aspect. And that defense that year, well, those 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, that defense, nobody really believed that we could stop anybody. And we had to go out and prove each and every game that hey, we're in the SEC just like everybody else. Everybody might call us the little brother, but nah, we come to play regardless. And it was very fun playing with those teams, definitely.
Well, hey, look, dog, the SEC West ain't ever been a joke. And it's one thing to get the win against Coach Saban because you keep the ball, right? To do it twice in one career. I mean, I believe it's just like y'all and maybe Auburn, I think, at this time. I mean, LSU getting there. Yeah. Yeah. So I can probably go down the list a couple times now that he's been coaching for about 15, 16 years. But it also underscores, just like you said, the talent that was on that team. Robert Kimdichie, Denzel Kimdichie, Channing Ward, CJ Johnson, Mike Hilton, and you mentioned Trey Elston, who is playing defensive back with the New Jersey Generals. What is your favorite memory of playing at Ole Miss, especially during that heyday of 2014, 2015?
Favorite memory? To be honest, it would honestly have to be that my sophomore win in Alabama. And I think Drake had just came out with the song Back to Back. Oh my goodness. It was a different time. I think we were doing great. Mississippi State was doing great at the time. Like it was just really a magical time for Mississippi sports. And I want to say we had just got on the cover, us at Mississippi State just got on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So really that was just honestly a magical time to be in Mississippi.
Hey, back to back like I'm on the cover of Lethal Weapon. Back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97. Yeah, I'm with you. I got you. But also in there, you mentioned it, right? That heyday where I found it interesting that finish that quote that you gave is couldn't get past Arkansas, which is wild to think about, right? Because that's how deep the SEC West was during that time. It's like we can beat Alabama twice. We can't get past Arkansas.
I never beat Arkansas at Ole Miss. In my career, I never beat Arkansas. That was one thing I was honestly looking forward to when we played Memphis, but it just so happened Alex Collins was on the IR at the time, and I was like, I got to get him back, man, because that it was like a 3rd and 38, 4th and 38. I never forget that play. I will never forget that play.
His freshman year was something else entirely. And there's Arkansas dudes all over this league. So you can go hit up on Cole Kelly was there for a while. And Michael Petaway was there for a while. You know, Kerry Angeline was there for a while. But that also brings me back to the USFL and kind of what this league has done for players like you. You got drafted second round by the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And things did not go the way that you had envisioned, even down to a 4-game suspension and a knee injury. What did you learn about yourself after that brief period in the NFL? And how much do you want to get back to the NFL?
I think the major thing that I learned during that stint was learning how to be a professional, doing the things necessary to make sure your body is good, to make sure you know the scheme, to make sure all T's are crossed and I's dotted. I think that was one of the major things that I look forward to having this opportunity was probably just being able to go about my work as a pro, being able to do the things necessary to be successful. And I honestly feel like I've been able to do that in this league with having that opportunity that Mr. Steve gave me. So that's one thing that I wanted to make sure I did when I got this opportunity was just to continue to be a pro, do the things necessary, and honestly, it's been fun. And what was your second question?
How much would you like to get back to the NFL?
That's number one goal. Definitely the number one goal. Really feel like with things I've done so far, really feel like I've gained that confidence back to understand that, yeah, Breeland, you probably can play a little bit of football. So let's probably try to get back to the league as quick as you can.
Well, the quickest way to do that is to be on a football team that is winning. Y'all got a win after a 4-game skid. You're still in the hunt to make the North playoffs, and 3 weeks left. I think you could do it. Breeland Speaks. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank y'all, man. Happy to be here.